She invites you to join Throatful of Wildflowers, where she hosts a monthly writing space for those who want to write about the hard things. The rest of the time, she's either therapizing, writing, or feeding stray cats. And yes, her cats say she's doing great. We think so too. Welcome to the stage. Here we go.
There's this plant on my windowsill that hasn't flowered in over a year. Not dead, not thriving, just stalled. I used to think it meant failure, but now I think maybe it's just mid-bloom. I had such an adrenaline high last time I did this. Stood up here, spilling the soft guts of my life. So here I am again, reaching for something, for some fun, some freedom, some fury, some forgiveness, some effing relief. I thought about the obvious F word. You know the one. I don't use it in everyday language. I don't curse. Some combination of Catholic guilt, strict parents, and a fear of going to hell for saying fudge too hard. But I use it in my writing. So I thought, why not come up here and just say it, feel it, breathe it, blurt it. Fuck. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. A little forced, a little fake. But hey, they say people who curse are smarter than those who don't. And I've lived through my fair share of F words. Failures, first love, fiascos, flower pots, faith crisis, food poisoning, full-blown breakdowns in Target parking lots, in my boss's office, my coworker's office, my partner's arms, the shower, while buying a plant. But let's start with the fiascos. I once clogged a stranger's toilet in Switzerland while nannying. Used my hand. Didn't say the F word even then. That's how tightly I was wound. I think I just whispered, "Oh no, oh no, oh no," like I was summoning an exorcist. I've lost my cool with toddlers, sent an email about my boss to my boss, tried TikTok, tried being funny with teenagers, tried silence. None of it ended well. But the most ridiculous, unforgettable, deeply dumb fiasco, a flower pot. Let me set the scene. Alternative school classroom. I'm the teacher, 10 kids who've seen too much, and one teacher assistant, 20-something, face like a slam door, attitude like a thunderstorm that showed up late, left early, and rained only on me. She didn't lift a finger, didn't pass out papers, didn't make eye contact, just sat there, arms crossed, brewing rage like some haunted antique I didn't remember ordering. And one day, she was worse than usual. The air was thick. Even the kids, who normally didn't flinch at anything, sat still, like houseplants trying not to be repotted. I was furious. I had lesson plans. I had a migraine. I had a classroom full of kids held together with invisible tape. And she sat in the corner like a bad Yelp review in human form. After school, I'm packing up, still simmering, and I overhear her talking to our boss. Quiet, fragile, not like her. Her flower pot broke. That morning before work, that's it, a flower pot. That's what had her slamming doors, ignoring children, radiating existential despair like she was method acting grief in a high school play. I nearly burst out laughing or crying, couldn't tell which. I just kept thinking, it's a flower pot, a damn flower pot. But was it? Because I've had flower pot days. You know the kind. When the thing that breaks isn't big, but it's the last thread holding you together, the last ritual, the last softness, the last little reminder that life can still grow. And when it breaks, you unravel, quietly, spectacularly, in a way no one sees. That flower pot fiasco taught me more about grief than any training manual. It taught me how pain wears disguises. Sometimes it shows up as rage, sometimes silence, sometimes spilled dirt on a floor at 8 a.m., and a woman who forgot how to breathe. Since that day when someone ignores me, snaps at me, shuts down, bites their lip too hard, I whisper to myself, maybe their flower pot shattered today. That's my mantra now. Not forgiveness exactly, but an opening, an exhale, a softening, an invitation to not take everything so damn seriously. Because I've had other flower pots break too, like being a woman in a world that confuses worth with obedience, where you're taught to be nurturing but never needy, strong but not loud, ambitious but still palatable, where being female often feels like being one mistake away from being too much, too sensitive, too emotional, too bossy, too brown, too real. And it doesn't feel safe here, not in this political climate, not in this country, not in this brown skin, not when the word fat is still treated like profanity, like a failure of character, not when being in a bigger body means being invisible and hypervisible at the same time, judged, measured, pitied, told to shrink, to disappear, to try harder, even when just existing already feels like a war. And maybe, if we're being honest, it never really has been safe. And I've tried, God, I've tried to be a good daughter, a good woman, a good worker, partner, citizen, vessel, and still the world finds new ways to call me a failure. I've had flower pots break like that too. Like the time I was given a chronic pain diagnosis by a doctor with sweat stains in places I can't unsee, who told me my life would be small and full of suffering, like that was a treatment plan. Like the time I was told to dial it down, my care, my advocacy, my love for queer kids, Spanish-speaking families, students with behavioral plans, and hidden grief. I was told to leave parts of myself, the queer parts, the brown parts, the angry parts at the door if I wanted to keep my job. So I didn't leave those parts. I left the job. And I found a better one, a job where healing smells like food, sounds like stories, feels like ceremony, where being a therapist doesn't mean fixing, it means witnessing, where I'm allowed to be soft again. And somewhere in all of that, I came back to writing, to stories that don't ask me to shrink, to metaphors that let me expand. I joined a writing collective that celebrates differences, a space where we hold our own flower pots, cracked, chipped, but still beautiful. A space where we plant words, where silence used to grow. We write, we breathe, we begin again. And still, the world finds new ways to call us a failure. They say we're too loud, too soft, too much, too queer, too brown, too fat, too female to belong, especially here, especially now. Some days it doesn't feel safe to bloom at all, but still something in me grows. So maybe you've had your own flower pot, or maybe you are one, cracked but still holding something alive. Maybe something in you bloomed just to break, or broke just to bloom. And yes, I've lived through fiascos, flower pots, friendships, failures, first love, furious exits, faith lost and refound. But the F word I hold closest now, forgiveness. Not the kind that excuses, but the kind that understands, the kind that leaves room for someone to fall apart without falling away. The kind that whispers, it's just a flower pot. And also, I know it never is. Not when you're holding your whole self together with soil and string. Not when breaking means starting over. Not when forgiveness is the only soft thing you got left. Because maybe you're not a failure after all. Maybe, just maybe, you're mid-bloom.